Hello students, welcome back to my channel. Today we will discuss about Standard 12 Computer Subject Chapter number 13 Other Useful Free Tools and Services. Now for this academic year, this chapter, some of the topics are removed by our secondary education board. So we will first cover up those topics which are part of syllabus, and the topic start from page number 263, VLC media player. The topic before the VLC media player, they are excluded from our current academic year. Now the VLC media player is a software which can allow us to play media files like video, audio or both. We have discussed earlier that Ubuntu comes with built-in tools to play multimedia content like audio, video, etc. However, another great open source tool called VLC, originally it was a short form of Video LAN Client. That media player is shown in figure 13.3. Now the full form is Video LAN Client, please underline that. And it is also extremely popular because of its versatility and feature. So VLC media player is very much popular because of its feature, because of its variety of facility. As you can see how it look like. Now basically VLC media player started as an academic project by music loving students of University in Paris. Underline, it is now community project available under multiple operating system and has been downloaded over billion times. Now the sentence says that first of all it is initially started by some students, music loving students of University in Paris, and right now it is a community project. Means it is not developed by any company but group of people, and it is available for multiple operating system. Like for example, if you have a Apple computers, then in iOS you can install VLC media player. Same way in Windows, Android, all the operating systems you are able to install VLC media player, and that's why it's downloaded over billion times. One of the issue faced with multimedia content is that there are a variety of way of converting multimedia information coming from hardware devices, audio video stream into computer data, and then converting the computer data back into the audio video stream for playing on the hardware devices. Now we understand sentence by some work. See, basically the issue comes what, like for example you record video, okay, say in iPhone. Now you need to play it on LG company's monitor with Philips company's speaker. Okay, now the question comes, it create a problem. It create a problem because iPhone is another company, okay, and LG and Philips, they are another company. So in that situation, what is to be done? Because the companies are different, their formats are different. So here the role of VLC is very high, because VLC need to first of all convert the multimedia information coming from hardware device like iPhone into computer data, and then again counter convert for LG and Philips speaker. This conversion is called coding and decoding. Coding means understand iPhone format, and decoding means make it available for LG monitor and Philips company speaker. So coding and reverse conversion, decoding, is performed by a software component called codec, that is coder and decoder. Now each multimedia data format required its own codec. It's required its own decoding. The advantage of VLC is that it support all popular codecs and hence all the popular formats. Like for example, in Apple, if you try to record the video, it store in .au format. Some of them use MP4, some of them use FLV, some of them use MKV, okay, .mp3. Now previously what happened, that previously for all these we required separate player, but now VLC support all these format. It support all these formats. So VLC support all popular codecs and hence all the popular formats, and it also support all the major types of devices including web camera, HD monitors, speakers of all types, microphones and headphones, all hardware devices. VLC provides several options for playback of audio and video, and it can convert multimedia files from one format to other. You can able to convert also, like from MP4 to MP3. It can also stream, I mean to say send audio video to a receive audio video from another computer called network, like LAN system and all those. So these are the benefits of VLC media player. Now in Ubuntu, VLC comes inbuilt. So after starting VLC from application, sound and video menu, we may open one or more file using media and open file menu items. Okay, now right now I am recording the video in Windows operating system. So I would like to show you, this is the VLC media player available. Okay, now you go for media and here it is mentioned open file, and then you can able to start the video. You click on this and click on open, so your video will start. So the menu sequence can be asked in exam. All pink writing you have to remember, it's important. You can open it by using media and open file menu item. We may open an entire directory. Directory means folder, using media and open directory option. For example, if I move over here, and if I select the folder, then all the media file of that folder will come on the list to perform. If you open directory, VLC will actually open all media files in that directory and that of that folder playable by it, and when one or more files are open, they are added to the playlist. Okay, the playlist is a list of media file tracks to be played, MP3, MP4, etc. We may play the media in the playlist either in a sequence or in random order. Okay, so in your playlist, if you have 100 files, then either you can play them one after other, first file, then second, then third, or in random order. And we may go to the previous or next track. We can able to move on previous track also and next track also. We may also save the playlist for playing the same track again. There is an option called repeat, so same song can be played again and again. Now the playlist can be opened using view and playlist. See, here we have a command. Okay, view, and here the command is there, playlist. So if you click on that, it will show you the playlist. Currently is empty, otherwise this is the playlist. And if you want to save, then you can go for media and save playlist to file option. And VLC support multiple file formats for playlist, but M3U, underline, M3U is the extension of the playlist. So M3U is more common as an extension to save the playlist. Now at the bottom of the window, VLC display a progress bar showing how much of the current track has been played and what is the total duration. We'll try to do it right now. I right now mute the audio because I want to record my voice, and I open the file of our paper style. So this is our VLC media player. This is progress bar. You can bring it forward and backward both. Now the next sentence. By sliding the little slider on the bar, we may move back and forth in the current track. Below that we have a play button marked with the little right pointing triangle. Here we have a play button. You can able to see this is a play button. Okay. This is play button, right hand side triangle. If I again click, then it can be toggle play and pause. Pause has two vertical line. Then this is for the tracks mentioned. It is for next track. This is for previous track. This is for previous, this is for next track, this is stop. So again if you play, then it start from beginning. Then this is for equalizer. Okay, this is for repeat. Loop means repeat. Okay, then here right hand side we have a volume option. Okay, now all these are described over here. See, when track is playing, this button turn into pause button with two parallel bar on it. If we pause the playback, then the button revert back to the play mode, and the middle of the next three button is used to stop the playback completely, while the buttons with a double arrow on the left and right is jump to previous and next track respectively. This I explained, so I just simply read. The next button act as toggle between watching a video into window against watching it on a full screen mode. That means every time we click on this button, it switches from one of these states to other. That is full screen mode, like this. See, this is full screen mode. Okay. So it is toggle. I hope you can read this. Toggle the view out full screen. You can able to see here. Okay. Next, that means every time we can click on this, it switches from one of the states. In the full screen mode, even the control like play, pause, stop is hidden, and they can be displayed on temporary floating window by moving mouse cursor. So if you move your mouse cursor over the video, you will get again the button back. Which button back? The pause and stop and all those. The next button is for displaying the playlist. Is these options are available in the menu also. Okay, so all these you can able to do with the help of menu. Here we have a menu, pause, stop, previous, next, record and all those. Now VLC has a lot of other functionality as well. We shall discuss how VLC can be used to convert multimedia files from one format to other. Like for example, this is MP4 file which is right now on your screen about our paper style. Now if I want to convert into MP3, then first of all you have to close the file. The most important point which we need to focus is when you want to convert, you need to stop the file. See, VLC is open but the file is not open. Now what is the instruction? Select media and convert or save file option from the menu, and using add button select and add the file to be converted, then from the list besides the convert / save button. Okay, so we'll work out with this. Media, okay, convert and save. Then click on add button. Then select this. So here it shows the name of the file. Then we click on this triangle. Okay, and then we can able to go for convert command. But we repeat, using add button, select add file to be convert. Then from the list beside the convert and save option, select the convert option, and this will open another dialog box. So from here we will select convert. So one more dialog box will open. Okay, this is one more dialog box available. Now it says what? See, here we need to provide destination file in which we want to store the converted track, and we need to select the appropriate file format, audio or video, from the drop down menu provided. And on the clicking on start button will now start the process and the progress will be shown, but sometimes we may get error also. Now what they try to say is, here you need to select you want in which format. Say for example, I say I want in audio MP3. Okay, and I select destination, say for example desktop, and I click on save. Now if I click on start, then what happens? It start conversion. Error may come if I open the file and do this operation. The file which you want to convert, don't open it. I click on start button. So you can see conversion is going on. And now the conversion is over. And on desktop the file is available. Okay, in terms of MP3. Alright, now this is a normal process. Actually people use some more software to convert. This is what given in a textbook. Okay, otherwise to convert it we have so many other software available. You can download Format Factory and all, which are more compatible, or we can say the more reliable. Okay, now after that we have a next topic, that is Google Maps. Okay, our next topic is how you can able to use Google Map. Okay, in chapter 5 we discuss, here it's given in a form of revision. See, Google Map shown in figure 13.4, that is this one, is a free internet based service provided by Google Incorporation. Google has over a period of years collected extensive map data from whole earth. So many photographs, collect data through various means, like Google use satellite imagery, they use car with a camera mounted on top of them, they purchase data from various organizations, they provide data by millions of individual users around the world and collect it and make it Google Map for us. And you can able to start the map app in your mobile phone. Google Map allows anybody to edit the map and identify landmark buildings, and it also allows user to upload the photographs of the place and post reviews of the places, like ratings and reviews and everything you can clarify. So this service is heavily used on mobile device to find out the path between two destinations, nearby ATM centers and petrol pump, and in some specific range some specific items and all those. And the service is also heavily used on mobile device like a smartphone and tablets, we can say. Now you can able to see here the Google Map service in a map view. Now how to get this service? The service can be accessed from web browser by opening the website www.google.co.in and select the map option from the top, or directly enter the URL website, that is maps.google.co.in. Okay, now we try to do is, I'll start Google and here I type maps.google.co.in. Now if you notice, it shows Rajkot. Look at this, because right now I am using the BSNL broadband and its server is in Rajkot, so it shows my current location is Rajkot. But if you try to do in mobile phone, then it will show your location. That's why in textbook it mentions, see, in textbook it is given, on mobile phone the service may access from your mobile phone web browser as well as from the Google Map application apps. When access the service, first try to know current location. On the PC, a rough idea of user's location can be obtained from the user's internet connection. Like I have a BSNL broadband connection, then it shows Rajkot because BSNL server may be possible in Rajkot. So on a mobile phone, the user's location can be known with a high accuracy if GPS global positioning system facility is used. So when we say about GPS, means global positioning system. So on your mobile phone, the user's location can be known with very high accuracy. But one condition is GPS required to be on, so that facility is used. Whereas on website, in PC, it will not show your location if you have broadband connection, as I told you. Now this system finds users location and estimated error of only few meters using satellite signal, so you can able to get the location. And Google Map also allows the user to correct the location if it is inaccurate, so you can able to rectify it. Then it shows a map of current location, and then we can pan means scroll the map by dragging the different direction or by clicking on the arrows in the circle on the left hand side, a vertical slider bar on the left arrows to zoom in and zoom out on the map, which I will demonstrate. See, this is plus, minus, okay, and with the help of mouse click you can go for zoom in, zoom out. It depends the way how you want to go for. So this is pen, scroll in, scroll out, like that. Okay, so this is the satellite view. Now you see the paragraph says Google Map can show the information of the place in different forms. The default view is map view. This is map view. Okay, I clarify, this is map view and that is considered as default view. Okay, it is considered as default view. By clicking on the satellite button, we may switch to satellite image view shown in figure 13.5, and in this satellite view we can see that the image is taken by the satellite in the sky are shown. For example, you see, now I click on satellite. It takes some time to load, but then it will load. Yeah, so you can able to go for zoom in. Okay, this is our school, you can able to see that. Okay, next, the images are clear enough to identify most familiar buildings, as I already show you our school. The service also provides the facility of getting direction on how to reach from place A to place B, and the two places may be two different cities or place within the same city. And the service provides the choice of routes where available, and in next figure 13.6 they show the example. And the service even provides turn by turn guidance while traveling if we use mobile device equipped with GPS receiver. So first I would like to show you. For example, here I write, for example, say Bhavnagar to Ahmedabad. Then I can able to see the routes. Okay, there are 3 routes. This is one route, this is second route, and this is third route. So you can able to find out the details of all them, distance and all those. On a highway or a crowded city area, walking or driving, the service decide the route based on the current location and the destination, and the guides us with on screen as well as voice, that is spoken instructions. Now there are several uses of the service. It can be used to search for a place and find out exact location, and it can also be used to find direction to places unknown to us or in the cities we are not familiar with. Like you go to unknown city and you want to find out something, this app will be helpful to you. Government organization and businesses use the services to provide people information on how to reach to their offices. Okay, and the service also has a facility using which anyone can display a map of any place on their website. So you can able to share this map on your website, so that those who visit your website, they can able to get the location of your premises. Then many organizations display such maps on their websites. Tourist information websites and tourist department of government also make the use of service. It can also be used to display bus route, current location, running trains, etc. And the service also provide the facility of finding the nearest ATM center, bank, restaurant, bus stop, or any other such essential place. So no need to worry, just write nearest ATM, you will get the nearest ATM like petrol pump and all those. Okay, so in textbook they show the direction using Google Map. Now next is character map is exclude for our current academic year 2020-21. It is not in the syllabus, but as I told you, we discuss when whole portion over every topic which are excluded, that we will discuss in detail. Then R software. Now R software is part of syllabus. It is important because there are so many MCQs can be possible from this topic. But R software start from page number 67 to 67, and then it complete for our syllabus, it complete on 269 till figure 13.11. So R software I am not discussing right now, but after figure 13.11 on page number 269, plotting in R is exclude, not in exam. Page number 270 also not in exam. Okay, and page number 271 rational plan we need to discuss. Rational plan is a part of syllabus. Now people working in different areas like construction, engineering, services and consulting, business or software development usually works on a project that is having constraint, limitations of time, resources and budget. Rational plan is a software which allow you to manage multiple project together or single project in a better way. I'll explain you by an example. For example, this is my building construction 1 first site. Same way I have 6 building construction sites are there. Now I need to manage raw material, labor, all these I need to manage for all my sites. Okay, now rational plan will tell me how much raw material required, which are the labors required, how many labors required. All this can be planned with the help of rational plan software. Because whenever you are go for building construction, you need to focus on time, resources, and budget. If the work delay, then budget will definitely disturb. So any delay in completion of the project increase the cost of the project. At some point of time, to manage these kind of project, we need to prepare, maintain, and follow a well defined plan. So we have to focus on well defined plan, and such plan help us to complete the project as schedule on time, based on requirement, okay, within our defined budget. Now rational plan is one such open source software. Open source means you can able to download and change it according to your choice. You have a choice for modification. It's called open source, customize in your language, and it is helpful to assist the project managers in preparing and maintaining and following a well defined project plan. So you can able to manage your project plan in a well defined manner. Then it mentioned that it assists the project manager throughout the life cycle of project, beginning of the project, investment, work completions, everything is covered up with that. Now rational plan comprises three different desktop products: rational plan single, multi, and viewer. Now single is useful, say for example one building construction, that this building construction required to be completed in how many time, for that how many labor required, how many raw material required. If you want to manage only one project, then it is rational plan single. But if you want to manage multiple project, then you require rational plan multi. Benefit is what? Say for example, here I have a 30 labor, and here I have a, say for example, 1000 kg raw material. Now emergency, for building construction 2, I required 1000 kg raw material and 10 labors, emergency. Rather than go for call the labor from somewhere else, I can transfer from this 30 to 10 here. So now it become 20 over here, and 1 kg, 1000 kg I will write over here. So here it become 900 kg. So this is the benefit of rational plan multi. It will tell you such type of solutions. Now rational plan single allows us to manage independent project that do not have common resources, independent, and has no interrelation between two projects or different projects. It allows manager to associate general project information like name of the project, okay, some keynotes, some of the linkage, that is links, and assumption and constraint of risk, drawbacks, and all. It allows creating, editing, and deleting the calendar, building schedules, etc. Once the resource are created, we can assign tasks to them. Like if 30 labors are available, we can define the tasks to them. It provides project tracking tool. So daily it prepare a graph, how much work complete, when it can be complete, and to complete early what to do. Okay, all this can be reflect in tracking tools. It shows critical path, mark of completion, how many percent work over, okay, work, and cost, time, phase information, that to complete this work, if the cost increase, then how much increase. We can guarantee a printable we can generate a printable report, as well as import data from other project manager tool, or export our data into other formats. So here import, export, both are possible. You can importing information and you are exporting the report, both can be possible by rational plan software. Next is rational plan multi. It allows us to manage projects that share company resources across projects, and it also manages interdependencies between two projects. As I told you, this is interdependency. B2 is depend on B1, so that is called interdependency. It includes all the features of a rational plan single project. Further, it calculates the resources data, that is work cost, whether we allocate resources in terms of over allocation, considering their assignment in all the project, okay, daily routine task, okay, daily targets, and it allow links between the task pertaining to be different projects, analyze all our project data and create a project portfolio view. Project portfolio view means all the project can be seen together on the screen, so that it can be important for us to decide that out of these multiple projects which project needs to complete first and why. So you can able to get the answer of that question. Rational Plan Viewer is an additional tool developed to share the project on its original file format underline .xrp. XRP is the extension of Rational Plan file, and a viewer, Rational Plan Viewer, is just want to view someone else's project. You can't change, you can't add, nothing doing, but you can view. But it can be used as well as to open Microsoft project files. It is useful to anybody who needs to check and overview the project's evaluation without making changes to the schedule. Okay, so it will be give the better plan that without changing the schedule, how you are able to complete the project, okay, evaluation of project and all those, without making things in the schedule, and for resources to see their assignment, like labor get their assignment, supervisor get their assignment, etc. Though as of today the support of rational plan on Ubuntu 10.04 has been removed, it is available for Ubuntu 12.04. See, 10.04 now rational plan software is not available, but for Ubuntu 12.04 and later, means 12.04 onwards, it support rational plan software. Okay, so this is our rational plan software. Skype topic is exclude from the topic of exam point of view. Okay, so Skype topic is not there in the syllabus criteria, and after Skype the chapter is over. But as I told you, we still left out one topic, that is R software, which we will discuss in our next lecture. And till next lecture, you need to watch this video. If you have any suggestions or doubt or questions, you can ask in comment section. Okay, so we will conclude over here. Please take care of yourself. Okay, God bless you. Thank you.